Welcome. This is Harriet Grayson, your host and producer for Community Culture Showcase. Well, my friends, it's been a while, and of course the country has been through, my gosh, all kinds of crazy stuff, which is still continuing. And I just want to urge everybody out there to go out and vote, whether you live in Connecticut or in Rhode Island or wherever else you pick up this show. It's important for our citizens to do their thing. In the meanwhile, as we're facing this COVID crisis, we have a wonderful organization in Southern Rhode Island that is doing everything possible to help people who are seniors or disabled or people who are shut-ins to try and help them get through this crisis. It is very difficult for many people, especially those who live alone, to be able to face the challenges of being afraid to go out and get groceries. Forget about eating out. So we have an organization that has been wonderful about doing the very best for the people who are not in the very best of health to be able to get out and do things for themselves. So it's with great pleasure I introduce Deb Tanner, who I have known for a very long time, who is the Executive Director of Southern Rhode Island Volunteers. So Deb, tell us what your group has been doing to really help those seniors out there.
Well, hello, Harriet, and thanks for allowing us to come and talk to some people and maybe bring some hope and lightness to what we've all been facing. COVID obviously took us all by surprise worldwide, not just here in the U.S., but we had an opportunity to make some choices, to step up and do some things and help be part of solutions, or maybe crawl under the pillow and just say, oh my gosh. So what we've been able to do is we help get groceries to our seniors and homebound individuals and people who might have health conditions that to be out and about in the public could be quite risky for them because they might be more susceptible to the virus. So what we're doing is twice a week we are at a local market in Southern Rhode Island. We take orders for groceries from seniors who call in. Then we shop for them, and then our volunteers deliver it to their homes. They pay the market with their debit or credit card, so there's total contactless delivery of the groceries for them. When they get them home, they can wash down, the bags or the groceries, as some have suggested, whatever they want to do. We all wear masks, we all use gloves, wash our hands, use hand sanitizer. We're helping about 50 individual senior homes at this point. Back in late March, April, May, it was a little bit difficult. There were 3 groups doing it at that point, and we were helping about 150 senior households a week, which was quite a big load. But with the 3 organizations, it worked Monday through Friday. At this point, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're helping about 50, like I said, at Southern Rhode Island Volunteers. They're doing that. We continue to deliver Meals on Wheels for those folks who have to have the prepared meal, and we have volunteers across Washington County. We service all of Washington County, the southern end of Rhode Island, which includes like 9 communities in Washington County, and then Jamestown and East and West Greenwich. So it's 12 of Rhode Island's 39 communities. All of our volunteers, like I said, wear masks. I have mine with me today. And I'm really happy to report that if you follow the science and you use good common sense, you don't get overly neurotic almost about it or overly political. Science dictates safe ways to move about and get things done. Not one of our volunteers has contracted COVID-19.
Wonderful.
We've been at this since March. There's been about 60 of us out and about doing this, and none of our seniors we're helping has contracted COVID or passed. I mean, we have had some seniors pass because people are dealing with all kinds of chronic illness.
Yes,
but nobody involved in this service has contracted COVID-19. So the scientists and medical professionals obviously know what they're talking about,
Right.
because these methods are working, and it's simple. It's a mask. It's washing your hands, using hand sanitizer. Initially, it was also using some gloves. It's like we're not doing anything over and above that. That's what we're doing. Doesn't mean that somebody couldn't possibly get
Sure.
COVID-19, but when you're taking the precautions, using common sense and stuff, it works.
Right. Right.
And at the same time, people have access to food so that the nutritional diet stays where it needs to be to promote healthy aging. We also have, for a period, we weren't transporting anyone to medical appointments, but doctors weren't seeing anyone. That all began to happen again in July for well-being appointments. So, for instance, if you're a diabetic and you have some eye situations tied to the diabetes, you might need injections. So you might need to see an eye specialist for that. That's not a sick visit. That's something to keep you from going blind.
Right.
Or you need to get to the cardiologist, or you need to go to your primary care because you're a diabetic, or an orthopedic appointment or something. So for those kinds of things, we are transporting again. Our volunteer sits in the front seat of their car with their mask on, driving. The senior who's getting the ride sits in the back seat on the passenger side with their mask on, so they're socially distanced in the car.
Yeah, my husband Art's going to start to go back to doing those transporting of people.
Right.
It'll be more like being a taxi cab driver.
Yeah. One of the services that has changed for the time being is Visitation and Companionship, to help alleviate the isolation that some of our older aging individuals face. Those calls are happening as calls, phone calls, not in-person visitation.
Right.
Because most of those folks are quite vulnerable, and honestly, we just don't want to take the chance to bring people into their homes. They're safe in their home if they're not going out anywhere.
Right.
So we don't want to introduce anything to them. So phone calls are made to them. We have about 40 to 45 people that we make phone calls to check on their safety, to check on their well-being, make sure that they know someone's paying attention, that someone cares, that they're not totally alone emotionally, even though they physically may be alone in this moment in time, and that, this too shall pass at some point, and we're here. We're a phone call away. So those things are all working out well. It's interesting to me how many people now call us for assistance. It's sad that it took a deadly virus to wake people up in terms of what our aging members of our neighborhoods need. But we are seeing, normally in a year we might help about 400 individuals, we average. In this year, we will help more than 1,000 individuals.
Wow, more than double.
Yeah, so it's a tough pace. It really is, because we haven't added any staff.
Right.
We've added a few new volunteers, but some of our older volunteers aren't volunteering. If they're in their 80s or 90s, and they don't want to be exposed, or they may have a health issue.
Sure.
And the bulk of the people, I would say 85% of the people that we are assisting today are 80 years of age or older. Our oldest client is 102.
Oh my God. 102?
And the secret to getting to that age is to eat a can of spinach every day.
Like Popeye the Sailor Man.
He eats a can of spinach every day, which is absolutely wonderful. So it's really, it's rewarding for us to be able to be part of a common sense solution to a crisis that everybody's struggling with, trying to do the best that they can, and to help alleviate some of the fear that is present out in society, and do something proactively, and not just be sitting on the sidelines listening to this one say, well, they shouldn't do that, or that one shouldn't do that, or that's not going to work, or this. That's not producing any good positive outcome. But if you can be out there safely doing something that's supporting nutrition, supporting health, helping to have some sense of a normalcy to life, why would you not do it?
Right.
It's kind of a
You
no-brainer.
used to, in the past, have high school students and college students be volunteers. Are you welcoming kids in that neighborhood, in that age, or are they really the dangerous kinds of types?
We do not have any high school students volunteering at this time. We have all adults, 18 or older. We have very few college students volunteering. And at this point, we're not extending an invitation because in Rhode Island, COVID-19 numbers
are up in the URI, in Providence College.
And Johnstown and Wales, I mean, kids gather. I remember being 20 and you think you're invincible,
You cannot.
You're never going to get sick. Nothing bad's ever going to happen. Whoa, that won't affect me. And it's okay. It's a rite of passage. We've all been there. We've all made those choices, sometimes not the wisest choices. And from my vantage point, we have an obligation to make sure that the individuals we're bringing the food to are as safe as possible. These are vulnerable people based on the scientific data and information we've received that have the highest risk for complications or death. And so we're doing everything we possibly can to make sure we're screening volunteers even more stringently than we normally do.
Right.
And only providing opportunities where they can safely help. So the one area where we would use students is for yard cleanups.
Okay.
Where there's absolutely no contact. And a yard cleanup, from our perspective, we don't allow the senior to call the students and say, okay, come, rake my back 40. That's not a volunteer job, okay? It's raking the leaves, picking up the sticks on the walkway where you enter and exit your home for safety. In the winter, when the snow flies, it'll be shoveling the walkway. They don't shovel driveways. You get a plow company to do that, It's like they do the walkway for safety. So it's clearing the walkway or shoveling the walkway. And students could certainly do that and remain outside while the seniors remain inside and have no contact.
Right.
Bring their own tools. Everybody, even if you're a kid, you live with your parents, you've got a rake in your shed.
In the house, yes.
Somewhere in the yard, those kinds of things.
Are you also still looking for more people who are older to do,
Absolutely. We never turn anybody away. That's an individual choice. We have, for instance, I'm out there at the market. I'm 63, I'm diabetic. So I have risk factors, but I'm using safety precautions and I don't go out to dinner right now. It's like I buy a gift certificate or I order out to support our local restaurants, but I don't physically go out to dinner. I don't take actions that are more risky. It's just, there are some things we all have to accept that for the moment we can't do.
Right.
But this moment passes and on the other side of the moment, life continues and you can do it again. If you're one of the lucky ones, because there's over 200,000 people who haven't
perished.
made it through this crisis, and then they have loved ones. So I believe that I also have an obligation, and our volunteers have an obligation to honor that. They're people who have passed in a crisis in our nation, which to me is just like, my husband's a veteran. It's like our veterans serving and giving their lives. It's a different thing that happens, and it's a different way, not to take away from what our veterans do, but I think those of us who are okay and have our freedoms and have the luxury of going in and out, we owe it to anyone who serves us and serves our nation to be respectful, to be responsible, to be accountable, to be part of the adult population that addresses that in a mature way. You know, so I mean, and you don't have to agree with everybody's opinions and stuff, but I think there's certainly a kinder, gentler way for us to handle some of the things that have been going on relative to COVID-19.
And I think not so much Connecticut, but certainly Rhode Island has been doing a pretty good job of keeping the virus under control, with the exception of our younger people.
Right. This past
especially
week,
in the college, in the college age kids.
We were doing really well up until this past week. The past week, our infection rate, I think I just read, was 2.2%. And that's tied to not only our college students and gatherings, but also family gatherings where people have a false sense of safety. You know, they may be having family dinner and there's only 15 or, you know, whatever, 18 of them there, but they're not people who all live together. So, you know, this family came from Barrington, that family came from Charlestown, this family came from Exeter, they all come together. Somebody's been exposed, and they're all giving each other hugs. You know, so there has been some evidence in the contact tracing that shows that those things have increased our numbers a little this week. But if we pay attention to that,
and mindful, and the next time
and
we
are
have dinner,
mindful,
we just have the immediate family
have
and
your
nobody
mask,
else.
keep your social distance.
Right.
You can have a conversation like we are. It's fall, it's beautiful weather. Put on a jacket and sit outside in the backyard and visit. You know, actually pay attention to nature and enjoy it. You know, those cool, crisp days of fall, and have your conversation there. You know, there are so many ways for us to be actively engaged with each other and stuff, and doing it from a safe perspective to keep the virus in some sense of order as we navigate through finding out what the treatments that are effective are, what effective vaccines are. And I mean, and they're doing that work. And it does not discourage me when they say, well, this trial has been halted or anything. That's part of the process. I'm not a scientist, but that's part of the process. And the experts who are the scientists and the medical professionals, they're telling us and they're showing us, you know, and we all have our own health concerns, and I had to go to a local hospital recently. They did the COVID tests, they treated me, everything went well, did what I needed to do, came home. There was no complication to what I needed to address, that, oh, now I have COVID too. So again, it's common sense. It's being responsible, because if I say, I'm not wearing this mask because I don't want to wear the mask, but then I infect my 90-year-old mother-in-law, how am I going to feel? Or our 102-year-old client, I don't wear the mask just for me.
Right.
I wear the mask for everybody else too. For that person who might get sick, who might be a young parent and dies, and children are left.
Yes.
It's not a big deal.
Right.
It's not a big deal to me to wear the mask. It's like, it's okay, you know, and I see it as part of my responsibility as not just a citizen, not to get into all the political arguments over mask wearing, but as a human being. I'm human. I have an obligation to protect you. And I think that we're doing those things with what we're addressing. I see other organizations doing similar work. I see the people in our schools trying to do the same things. I think we all need to support each other in those efforts and not pick at each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if something's working, share it. If something didn't work, share that. You know what I mean? And we'll all get through this, you know, with common sense, with patience, with kindness. There's no reason why those things have to no longer be part of society. We don't have to be rude and angry all the time. We're going to be okay.
We wish these messages would get down there to everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
not to diminish the fearfulness of it, you know, not at all.
mm-hmm.
Absolutely recognize that. Absolutely, you know, want to honor people's different feelings and stuff. Understand all that.
Right.
You know, totally understandable. But I don't need to have an argument over it with you if you feel differently than I do.
But the most important thing I would come away with what you just said is the fact that by being irresponsible, you're being selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
You're not thinking about more than yourself. And that could even be in your own household.
Correct.
And you can, just like what you just said, you can avoid or make it more difficult to contract this disease, right, if in fact you're just what you just said. It's really very basic stuff. Yeah. Wearing a mask, washing your hands as much as possible, keeping your social distance. These are not major requirements for life.
No.
And it's a worldwide problem, and we'll see what happens. I mean, what has been happening, unfortunately, is that countries outside of the United States absolutely don't want us. So we don't have an immigration problem with Mexico because Mexico does not want Americans to come into their country. The Canadians, of course, have, for quite a while, have not allowed us into their country. And I have a dear friend who was supposed to go on a cruise in Germany, and of course the German government absolutely refuses to accept American travelers. So, yeah, you got to, if we did what we're supposed to do,
we might be traveling.
Yeah, we might be able to be part of the League of Nations again and be acceptable.
And we need to recognize that this isn't necessarily new. COVID-19 is a new challenge for us as humanity to deal with. But people have dealt with plagues. They dealt with the influenza outbreak. They've dealt with, you know, horrific weather events that caused other things, and disease and famine. And humanity has faced these things time and again and taken action to move forward and get to a better, safer, okay place, as opposed to taking 40 steps backwards or being stagnant because I'm going to dig in my heels and I'm not doing that. It's like, stop it. Mm-hmm. That's immature.
It's selfish.
It's selfish.
It's selfish.
Like, just do what you can.
I'm wearing a mask not for myself so much as for you.
Right.
To protect you.
Right.
And people just like you. So in response, you need to reciprocate.
And you know, and I get that sometimes it's like, you know, you'll pull into the pharmacy, you're gonna run in, and I get out of the car and I turn to go into the pharmacy and I'm like, oh, I forgot that mask, because I leave one hanging right inside the car, and I have to open the door and get the mask. I get that it's new, it's different, it's, you know, we're still months later getting used to remembering sometimes to put the mask on. But it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal when you talk about saving another life. Mm-hmm. That's what we do at SRIV every day. We do things that help to save the quality of life for whatever the longevity is for that individual person that we're helping. I'm not God. My volunteers are not God. We're not a higher power. We don't get to decide what someone's end date is. Our job is at some point during that individual's life span, during the dash. On a gravestone, there's a beginning date and an ending date, and there's a dash. And during that dash, SRIV is trying to help improve the quality, the safety, the health, the emotional support for people in need.
Of the most vulnerable in our population.
Correct. It's like our very young children, our very elderly people. It's like if we're a great society, those of us in the middle, we're protecting the two ends. We're recognizing their needs. We're honoring their needs, and we're addressing their needs. That's what a great society does.
And to meet our needs, we're taking new technology one step further in SRIV. Who am a tech phobe, we have an online auction to support your activities. Because even though almost everybody who does this work is a volunteer, you still need money to run the show.
There's still
expenses.
Yeah, there's still expenses, and our budget is very, very low for a small nonprofit. It's not big at all, but there still are some expenses to providing service no matter what. And events are off the table.
Right.
Nobody had them this year. And for the little grassroots like us, nonprofits, boots on the ground, that's a big hit. So we have an online contactless raffle. We're calling it our Autumn Breeze Contactless Raffle. And for each Friday for the next 4 weeks.
Starting this Friday,
starting tomorrow, there'll be 3 baskets raffled off. Information is on our website. If you go to southernrhodeislandvolunteers.org, the website, and you click on the News and Events tab, then click News, it comes right up. It's right there. It tells you everything that's being offered. You can choose to participate and purchase tickets using our PayPal account, or you can choose to call our office. We're there Monday through Friday. We'll help you get those tickets if you want to pay for them with check or cash, whatever your preferred method is, and be able to participate. And there's a lot of great raffle baskets being offered. They're all worth $100 or more. The community has been wonderfully generous with a number of different gift certificates and stuff. And then our own board chair put together, we created it for him. We created a cash tree, which is, that will go off on November 6th.
Manna from heaven, literally.
But there's $150 on the tree, and it's all, tied on there to look like little buds of leaves. So look, growing, happy, hope. So,
why don't you describe, if you could, some of the baskets? So what we have is 3 baskets for 4 weeks.
Yep.
For a total of 12 baskets of fun, and you can, pick whichever basket
you want,
or just put your money all in one.
Correct.
Whatever suits you.
Correct.
So go ahead, give us
So tomorrow we're starting with things, of course, that welcome our wonderful fall season. So we have a huge Halloween-themed basket. So in that you would find a little witch's hat, some ears, some little face masks. They're not COVID compliant, but they are Halloween compliant. Some scarecrows, some pumpkins, but they're not real pumpkins in that. They're pumpkins you could use to decorate. Little harvest signs, candy, of course. How could you have a Halloween basket without candy?
Of course.
And some towels and pot holders and stuff like that. And then we have a harvest garden basket, which has a huge wooden planter. It's got some holly tone. If you're a gardener like me, You know that holly tone is good to put around the base of your shrubberies it's kind of like a power food for them. So you use them on your evergreens and your shrubs.
Okay.
We have a mum in that basket. There's a hanging planter. There's gloves. There's tulip bulbs. There's potting soil. There's an emerald green arborvitae. So there's all kinds of cool things in that basket for the gardener and decorating out of doors.
Okay.
And then we have this wonderful kids craft basket, which you were pretty instrumental in putting together.
As if I was making a package for my grandchildren. Yes,
there you
exactly
go.
Right.
So there's like Play-Doh and arts and crafts things and birdhouses to paint and race cars to paint and different kinds of puzzles and games and
books.
And oh my gosh, it's just chock-a-block full.
Right.
And that's in a nice little, I like the basket it's in, the container it's in. It's nice and organized. And so
if you want to save that, you can then give it to the kids for Christmas.
Right, or you could use it for your laundry. It's
Yeah.
like, it's. I'm looking at it going, wow, that'd be a great little laundry basket. It's a nice fabric basket.
Sure.
And so there's.
And in Rhode Island, we're going to have Halloween, so that Halloween basket can be put to use.
Yes. Halloween is happening in Rhode Island with social distancing in place and COVID things. You've got to put your candy on a
tray,
cookie sheet or tray, and space it out. And then once that one's empty, you have to put a fresh one out. And that's how the kids get to do trick-or-treating, so that nobody's touching each other and touching everything.
Yes. And you're not touching them because you're not going to give it to them.
Correct. Yep.
Behind the door.
Correct.
Yes. So it's going to be
waving
little
at
different.
them. Hi.
Yes, and you can wear a costume yourself.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. You could put on something from this basket, and maybe you might want to put on I think there's wings for like a bumblebee, and there might be some ladybug stuff, and then there's like some kind of mask for, I don't know, one of the hero creatures, and a witch's hat. I mean, you could pretty much.
You can decorate yourself.
Be whoever you'd like to be.
Right. Exactly.
And then the following weeks, we have, on the 23rd, we have a team night basket, which is basically made up of all of our local sports teams' paraphernalia, T-shirts and caps and scarves and cups and all kinds of things for the Patriots, the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Celtics.
Yes.
I'm missing someone. Who
that's
am I
why
missing?
we have baseball, football, basketball, and hockey.
Yep, and there's a 6-pack of beer in there, so you have to be legal age to win that one.
Oh, okay.
And then some gift certificates and stuff. And then also that week is a house party basket, which comes with a pizza gift certificate and a stack of 6 different games. Everything from Monopoly to
chess and checkers. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yahtzee.
Yep. If you don't have any games at your house, you'll be all set.
Right, exactly.
This will cover it for you.
And if you have nothing better to do while we're isolating, you can play games. Some of these games you can play with just 2.
That's right. And then Dinner on Us has a number of gift certificates to restaurants. You can call out and order, or if you are going and participating, you could go to the restaurants. Mm-hmm. Can I say the value? Is that okay of that? No. Okay. So let me just tell you, it's worth your while.
Tell them the restaurants, because these are some class acts.
Oh, there's the Matunic Oyster Bar is in there. Yeah. Always
and
a
they have
favorite.
Always had an outside.
Yeah.
With the heat lamps, so you can still be going. Yes.
Yeah, and we have the Bike Stop Cafe in there. And let me just go look at my list. The Coast Guard House, Caterina's Italian Village, Bombay Flame.
Every kind of different food. It's So you can do dine-in or you can do curbside pickup. And this makes also a wonderful present for other people as well.
Or presents, like if you give
Presents, yeah.
smaller gifts,
Yes,
it's like,
give
you
them
know,
out to
you
friends
could take
and
care of
neighbors.
like 5 or 6 of you people on your gifts with that. And then we follow that with an adventure basket, which the following week includes a
We're
gift
talking October
certificate.
30th.
October 30th, a
Right.
gift certificate to Yago Ski Valley, which has a value enough that you could use you could get 4 lift tickets if you wanted. There's 2 day passes to Rock Spot for climbing, if you like to do rock climbing. There's kayaking, which of course you might want to wait until the weather turns nice again next year to do that, unless you got a wetsuit. You could go down Narrow River in the winter. And then there's gift certificate for Block Island Ferry, so you'll be all set come springtime too. So that gift will last you through the winter and the spring.
Yes, yes, very good. That's a
And
good
then wine time is a basket that needs no explanation.
one. Right.
There's a variety of different wines, glasses, and things to just really enjoy the various wines that are in there. And then one of my favorites is the Good Morning basket. There's a gift certificate for a dozen bagels. There's coffee mugs from Starbucks and teas. There's Dunkin' Donuts coffee. There's gift certificates to breakfast restaurants and stuff. And I love breakfast. I mean, that is just the perfect morning basket, really.
And both Dave's and Best Eaton and
yeah.
most of these places still have some outdoor stuff where you can
Correct.
you can have breakfast outside, wear a coat. It's probably nippy out at the moment, but
Or go to Dave's and pick up, some coffee or something.
and take it somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
And then we cap that all off on November 6th with a basket we're calling Thankful Basket, which our friends at Belmont Market put together for us. And if you've never received a gift basket from Belmont Market, you don't know what you're missing. The foods in this basket are just amazing, and they're all pumpkin and apple and fall kind of
Yummy
meal
Yes.
themes. And then I
Fill up yummy.
purchased like a table runner for Thanksgiving and some Thanksgiving towels and stuff, and asked their person who makes I said, could you use these in this? She made it look absolutely beautiful. So there's those extra pieces in there too with all the foods. And then we have the Christmas Magic Basket, which just is magical. There's ornaments. There's special gifts in there. There's a big red tablecloth in there. There's some holiday towels and just napkins and lots of just cool, fun things. And then the big ticket item for that is an evergreen wreath for your home. And that will be handmade by me.
Yes.
And you can have it that early if you like, or if you're the winner. Or, I'll make it the beginning of December for you, whatever you like.
Right, because it can't stay fresh forever.
Right.
Yes.
And it'll stay green through the whole winter unless you put it on a south-facing door and you never spray it. But if you spray it, it'll stay green all winter long, and it will have various greens and holly and all those things.
To keep you to keep you happy, even though you might have only one other guest for Christmas.
Yeah, you'll be able to look at it and enjoy it yourself.
Yes, yes.
And then, of course, the item that is the hot ticket item is the cash tree. And that, I can't wait for people to see when we will film this on our Facebook, YouTube. I can't wait for people to see it. It's a branch off a tree, and it's going this way and this way and this way. And then we all took the money and made them look like leaves and tied them up with...
I was part of that.
Yeah, you were part of that. And so now we have this great big tree, meandering
yes,
tree that is just fun. It's just really fun.
And you can use that to pay for your Christmas gifts.
There you go. Or you can treat yourself, whichever you'd like to do.
Whatever you want to do, exactly right, exactly right.
But it's exciting for us to see the happiness and the excitement that this is generating for people too. It's been it's been a tough time for people. It's been a lonely time. So it's like to do something like this, it's something, you can get a little bit excited about it. So we're happy to see that happen.
Yeah. I mean, because all the other major events, like we would have, what do we call Apple Pumpkin?
Apple Umpkin, yeah,
Umpkin,
which would have been a fall festival.
Yes.
Our bowling thing in the spring, that was canceled. Washington County Fair, which supports us, and Seafood Festival in Charlestown, those were canceled.
Everything gone.
Everything had to be canceled, and we understand that. So this is our way of helping to infuse a little bit of all of those revenues that are lost to help us support our seniors. We don't charge these people who need us any fees. These are low income or poverty level seniors who are in need. We're not, saying to you, okay, we'll do your grocery shopping, but it's going to cost you $20.
Right.
No, there's no
And
fees.
there's
I mean,
no-
and some people do make donations. Some of the seniors, and they can. That's perfectly fine. But if they cannot afford to, there's no
demands.
expectation.
Yes, there's no expectation
of that for
and
them.
that's always been the true also for the rides that you give.
Correct.
My husband for years has been giving rides, and oftentimes people want to give him money,
Right.
and he always says,
No tipping.
Give it as a donation to the organization.
There's no tipping. If a
Yes.
volunteer has a financial need, we do reimburse them mileage, so that there's no cost that would prevent them from driving, and nobody's making money on that. It's like, it's not about any of us becoming wealthy or anything. This is a grassroots nonprofit that supports the community. I mean, I'm 63. I'm going to be working till I die. I don't. You make a choice, to be in service work. It's like it touches your heart, whatever the cause is that you want to support. But at a small grassroots level,
This has been your niche for decades.
20 years as of October 1st of this year.
Yeah. This has been your niche, helping these kinds of folks. And what you do, the most important thing that you have been able to do over the years is prevent seniors from landing up in these kind of nursing homes or places like that where
too early,
Yes.
where it's not time.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
at
Keeping them
some
at
point we
home.
all might have to be there. Nobody knows, nobody knows. But the thing is, if I can avoid institutional care, and it's not that it's bad care, but I don't want someone else to tell me what time I have to eat,
Right.
what time I can go take a potty break, what time I can go sit outside, who can come and visit me, what time the light's out. I'm too stubbornly independent for that. I want to have my independence, and I think most of us do for as long as is possible. That's what we're doing, is we are helping people to remain independent and get that little bit of help they need to continue to be independent as they age. If the day comes when more advanced assisted care is needed, well, that's what's needed. But in the interim,
we try and prevent
there's
them from
right.
having to go too early.
And there's a whole lot of time when someone can be living independently with just a little bit of help.
Right, and that's been the mission. And in these very, very trying times, you have picked up the mantle of help and hope, and provided these folks with.
We have a staff of 3 who help support all of our volunteers. None of us has been laid off. We also haven't received any government funding to cover our payroll. We're trying to do what is the responsible thing, and to be a part of our community solution during a trying time.
Yeah.
That's what our job is.
Right, that's your mission, and you've been fulfilling it. That's
We hope
wonderful.
so.
Yes.
We hope
So we
can.
want everyone to get some more information.
Sure.
Check out the wonderful gifts that are available for this auction. And so there's the information, and you can go call up 401-552-7661. All of the services are for people in Rhode Island. The auction is for anybody who's in listening range of this discussion. You can, there's no harm in you if you live in Groton or Stonington or wherever. You wanted one of those wonderful prizes? Go ahead and make your contribution, your purchase tickets for that auction item. So remember, the number is 401-552-7661. And I hope everybody within listening will take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to support a great group. And in the meantime, you might possibly win one heck of a great prize. And there's many of them. There's 12 of them over the next 4 weeks.
Correct.
So I want to thank Deb for coming here and providing us with this information and repeating the message. And this is a mission of hope. And that's what's important for people all over our community.
Absolutely.
And then I want to just take a moment and tell you about another wonderful event that's coming up on November 1st with a fabulous organization, the Westerly Armory. That is a historic building that has been preserved. It has a museum. It puts on all kinds of events. Now, like many, many other organizations, they have been hammered by not being able to do a great deal of events. However, on November 1st, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., the Armory is actually going to have an in-person wonderful event, crafts, antiques, and Rhode Island authors. So I, being a Rhode Island author, will be there selling my books under my assorted names. I live a double life, and you can come and join me there. It's absolutely free, but we all as vendors have made contributions to the Westerly Armory, which is, again, a fabulous organization that preserves history and makes us remember the sacrifices, the great sacrifices men and women have made in service to this country. So I hope you'll come down. It's a beautiful 19th century building. There's parking here and there. It's a Sunday, so there's no regulations about where you can park. And come and join us. It's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There'll be lots of different kinds of people there. Come out and support the Westerly Armory. So this is Harriet Grayson. I'm glad that you came and watching us. It's been one heck of a long vacation, and I'm happy to be back in the studio making this show, and I hope to have many more shows coming up. And yes, just like Deb said, we will get through this. We will, because we are hardy people. We're from New England. We can take this stuff, and we can help other people not be so selfish and think about others. So this is Harriet Grayson, your host and producer of Community Culture Showcase. I hope you have wonderful opportunities to come and do our events, and by all means, keep safe.